My name is Carolyn Alexander, and I'm doing a vignette from a serial storytelling piece called Graveyard Love. This is called The Tragedy of a Good-Looking, Good-Loving Man, or Remembering Jimmy Sweetwine. I can't believe you're gone. I can't believe we've had our last rendezvous after all these years. I thought a hitman had taken you out, but as it turns out, it was something much worse. And if ever there was a lover and not a fighter, it was Jimmy. We thought it was Delilah that had something to do with it. I was getting my hair done when Sarah came into the beauty shop, hysterical. He's been shot. He's been shot. All of us rose as one and said, but he ain't dead. He ain't dead, is he? She said, I don't know. They took him to St. Luke's Hospital. And we all jumped up and commenced to taking off our plastic drapes and reaching for our pocketbook. We had to make Patsy rinse her hair out, the perm out of her hair, before she took off to the hospital. And when I got to the floor where you were, I knew you were gone. I just sank down to my knees. I saw a nurse passing by. I grabbed her skirt and said, Is he gone? She looked down at me with a tear-soaked face and said, yes. Then she snatched her skirt out of my grip and went on down the hall. And I just laid out on the floor and cried. I cried because I just didn't care anymore. Finally, Lucy came and got me and made me get up and said, we need you in the waiting room. We're having a meeting. And when I got to the waiting room, there was about 18 women there in various states of disarray, crying. I saw Sharon there. She had her head down between her knees. She didn't even bother to look up. Lucy said, we have got to find who did it. Who stole the dream, the hope, the promise of love from Winston-Salem last night? Who is responsible for killing Jimmy Sweetwine? And even Sharon looked up and said, find the motherfucker. So with Sharon's blessings, we tore out into the streets of Winston-Salem. We searched the streets with a fine-tooth comb, and we threatened anybody that didn't answer our questions quickly. Now, as I said, we thought it was Delilah. Hadn't she broken into Sharon and Jimmy's house and cut up two of his best suits because he didn't make it to a rendezvous? And then she went down to the store and confronted him. And when he said it was over, she just walked down the next aisle, poured some bleach in a cup, came back and threw it in his face. In his eyes, to be exact. She could have blinded him. We should have kicked her ass for that. But he loved Delilah with her wild self. I had to admit she was gorgeous. They say she was a sexual novelty act. But then Jimmy loved us all. He loved us in his own special way. And we had to share him because we had to have somebody to tell or to talk to say how special it was, how different it was to make love with Jimmy Sweetwine. But I can say of all the women Jimmy loved, he loved me best. But Jimmy was changing. He was getting to a different stage, a different level of maturity. And Delilah's gorgeousness and sexual kinkiness didn't excite him anymore. Besides, her mind was in arrested development. Even with me, he was different. Out of the blue, he asked me, "Why didn't you marry me, Peaches?" I said, "'Cause you pissed me off, Jimmy." Besides, he was extremely good looking. By the time he was 15, women had ruined him. And who could resist all the temptation of being with one woman? But I can say, I never even gave him that chance. Just a month ago, when he was craving my love and not just my love making, I wrote a poem for him. I said, "I love you when you can get it up. I love you when you can't. I love you when we making love. I love you when we ain't. I love you when I'm frying you fish with just my bra and panties on. I love you when you laying in bed wearing nothing but a song. Oh, baby, I love you." And I could tell he was touched. He just leaned back and said, "Peaches." And I came into his arms. And he held me till we both went to sleep. Anyway, we thought it was Delilah. And we found her 1 o'clock in the morning. She had tried to jump over the ledge of her building and fall back into the gravel and tar. She had lipstick wiped across her face. Her eyes was red and swollen as a baboon's butt. And she was drunk. And we could tell by that miserable look on her face that she hadn't killed Jimmy. "I didn't kill Jimmy. I loved him. I'm going to kill myself over him." And I asked Ron, "Why would you want to kill Jimmy?" Lucy grabbed Delilah by the collar and said, "Who?" "Ron Mackey. Ron Mackey shot Jimmy." "Why?" "She said somebody paid him. And he was trying to get away. He thought he could stay with me because he thought I hated Jimmy because I poured that bleach in his face. But that just showed I loved Jimmy. And when he told me that, I grabbed a butcher knife and I tried to cut his heart out. But where's he now? His eyes got big and he left. I don't know where he is." Well, we decided we'd go to bed and start looking for Jimmy's killer again in the morning.